All right, we can do this. All right, cool. Let's check it out. Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, you asked for it. A lot of you want to know what happened with this video. The kids at the lake, harassment. Okay, maybe a little dramatic, maybe a little undramatic. Still, point of the matter is, there's laws against harassing a fisherman. You can't do it. You can't harass anybody as far as that goes. You're outdoorsmen, outdoors women, hunters, fishermen, enjoying themselves. Some kid comes up and, you know, it doesn't even have to be a kid, adults, whoever, come up, start harassing you. You have rights, and they can't do that. So just keep that in mind moving forward. A lot of you guys, like I said, you guys are asking for a follow-up video here. The video ended pretty abruptly. Mom came down the boat dock. As a matter of fact, Sheriff, she was standing right here next to me. Mom came down the pier. I told Mom you can see the video if you'd like to see what your kids were doing. So everybody's kind of asking what was going on after that. Mom came down, talked, asked, you know, talked to the boys, trying to understand what was going on. Said to the boys a couple different times, you know, if there was a problem, why didn't you call me, so on and so forth. You know, oh, well, I looked the lady flat out and I told her, I says, well, if I was out being an asshole harassing people, I probably wouldn't call my mom either. Out here showboating in front of my buddies, this, that, and the other. After it all ended, cop, sheriff, lady, deputy, she did great. I'm glad she told the kids what she did. She went on her way, sent the boys on their way. She did not write them any tickets. She gave them a stern talking to. Explained to them, obviously, as you heard in the video, you know, you just don't go out harassing just anybody. Luckily, I decided to handle that situation in a grown-up manner versus taking things into my own hands. Yeah, at times we think, yeah, we should probably take things into our own hands and deal with it and this, that, and the other. I get it. That's me. Trying to just be grown and mature as it could be about the situation. It went on as long as it did. I was mad. I was angry. Afterwards, as I was saying, deputy, she sent the kids on their way. Mom sat there at the boat ramp, still trying to justify why and understand what and why they did what they did. She approached myself. My wife was there. Another buddy of mine was there to help me get my boat out of the water. Came in and came over to the boat after we were out. I was sitting here in the driver's seat. She was standing here on the port side over here. Well, I'm just trying to understand. Well, what are you trying to understand is what we asked her. Trying to understand why they would have thought that, you know, I was being unsafe. And ended up telling the lady, you know, hey, look, this is exactly what happened. They came up, they were pulling a tube. You know, they came idling by me and started telling me I couldn't fish where I was at. As soon as I told her that they were pulling a tube, she then was like, oh, and I'm like, what? Well, people pulling a tube have the right of way. I looked at her, I says, I was sitting still. My big motor wasn't even running. I was fishing. So what right do they have to stop and harass me because they think that they have the right of way? Every other boat that went on both sides of me, they had no problems with what I was doing. There's other people out in the lake fishing that day as well. So she said and tried to justify what they were doing. She kept going on and on and on and on and on. Trying to justify their actions. She kept talking. My wife told her, you know, hey, just stop. Lady looks at my wife, says, what, I can't talk? And my wife happened to look at the lady, told her flat out, no, you're not going to talk to my husband, and you're not going to talk to him in that tone. Shout out to the wife. So, ultimately, after all that, I called the sheriff's department the very next day. If you listen to the video, you can hear the dispatch. She is in there. Well, if you want to call and leave a complaint, call tomorrow. So I called the sheriff's department. Sheriff called me back. I called and left a message with the night shift captain. He called me back. After I spoke with both of them, I then called conservation officer. Talked with conservation officer the next county over. Talked to him, explained to him what was going on. Found out, you know, hey, more than likely they're not going to pick up charges, not going to prosecute, blah, 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 so on and so forth. He felt that it was a good idea, after speaking with the CO from the county that this happened in, that, you know, they reach out to me and have a conversation. So, CO from this county that this happened in, he called me up. You know, we had quite the lengthy conversation, honestly. Not having conservation on call, not having police officers available, not having anybody within the area that could have made it there. You know, it's an unfortunate situation. And but anyways, conservation officer that I spoke with in the video also you can hear the kids saying, what's a CO? Well, CO is a conservation officer. He told me ultimately that the county that they were in more than likely wouldn't pick up charges, state probably wouldn't pick up charges, so on and so forth, but said that, you know, hey, trying to prosecute what ultimately ended up being minors. At the time, I had no idea until, you know, he introduced himself to the officer being 16 years old, and what's to say the other individuals on the boat weren't of age adults. But he said that they would not probably prosecute. He did tell me, though, and it was pretty cool of him, that he was going to go and introduce himself, since they didn't know who the CO was or what a CO was. He was going to introduce himself as the conservation officer for said county. I'm yet to hear anything back. I don't know if he ever made contact, so on and so forth. I had hull ID numbers, picture of the boat, hull ID number, so on and so forth. Turned it over to them. Obviously, they'll take that and go with it. But yeah, it's one of them situations. Kids being kids, kids trolling, kids doing this, okay? Kid was showboating for his buddies, whatever, okay? We get it. At the end of the day, and I'm not going to say that this was an emergency, no. Was I being harassed? Yes. Did it need to be dealt with? Yes, it did. It did. I felt it did. There's a lot of that goes on around here, and even on the water, that a lot of folks don't see. You might hear about it. You know, some of your pros have videos of being harassed by people just for fishing. Like, we're not out there to tear your shit up. We're not out there to damage anything. You know, fish live under piers, so we're up fishing around piers. You know, fish live in the water, so we're in the water fishing. To have somebody like that come out and you know, try to ruin your day. As a matter of fact, it was a day ruined. It happens a whole lot more often than you would believe. Look into it. There's videos out there. Hell, maybe I'll even post a few. See what happens. One name that comes to mind right now is professional elite angler Mike Iaconelli in a video he posted. Lady comes out and starts, hey, you can't fish here. It's the same situation. And he's like, oh, okay. You know, hey, I'll leave, blah, 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 so on and so forth. And then ultimately, you know, starts threatening him. And he's like, you know what? Now you've done made me mad. Now I'm not going anywhere. We don't have to. We don't have to leave. We don't have to do nothing. We can fish. It's public waterways. Thank you, everybody, for the 1 million views in 3 weeks. Have a good day.